Hello, today we will be reviewing Part 1 of Chapter 11, the Malankara Catholic Church, Major Archbishop and Catholicos. We will have a brief introduction, followed by a review of the authority of the Church in the early centuries, patriarchal churches, the name Patriarch, authority of the Church outside of the Roman Empire, the name Catholicos, and Mefren and Catholicos in the Antiochian tradition. Here are some vocabulary and terms that will be useful for this chapter. Utenkur is the group that left communion with the Catholic Church and joined the Antiochian Jacobite Church. Patriarch is a word of Greek origin meaning common father, and denotes the head of a family, clan, or tribe, as well as a bishop who has full authority over a regional apostolic church, and the bishops of that church. Catholicos is the head of a regional apostolic church that was not part of the Roman Empire. Mefren is a Syriac word meaning one who begets, and the title given to the representative of the Jacobite Patriarch of Antioch. Maravanius's request during the reunion movement came into complete fruition, with the status of the Malankara Catholic Church being raised from a system of metropolitan administration to a major archiepiscopal church on February 10, 2005 by Pope John Paul II. As a major archiepiscopal church, the Malankara Catholic Church became autonomous and has a synodal form of administration, with the head of the church as a major archbishop and Catholicos. This lesson will discuss the system of administration and the status of major archbishop and Catholicos, particularly in the following: the authority of the church in the early centuries, the patriarchal churches and the name Patriarch, the authority of the church outside of the Roman Empire, the meaning of Catholicos, and the use of Catholicos and Mefren in the Antiochian tradition. Christian communities grew in different places because the disciples preached the gospel to different parts of the world after the death of Christ. Christians were an underground community in the early periods, and were persecuted in the early centuries, but grew in strength in the Roman Empire. Thanks to the Roman Emperor Constantine, the Edict of Milan gave freedom to Christians and made Christianity the official religion of the Roman Empire. Christianity was influencing the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire was influencing Christianity. The political and hierarchical structures of Rome were used in the church as well. The church began to use a patriarchal system. An example could be shown as followed, where a head of the church, or patriarch, would have many metropolitan bishops under him that governed major cities, and within those cities there would be dioceses that were governed by bishops, and in the diocese would be parishes which would be led by priests. The church grew and strengthened in different places of the Roman Empire. 5 cities in the empire grew into church centers, or regional apostolic churches. They include Rome, which had the Latin liturgy, Alexandria, which had the Coptic liturgy, Antioch, which had the Antiochian liturgy, Constantinople, which had the Greek and Byzantine liturgy, and Jerusalem, which was the headquarters of the church. The patriarchal system of administration was established, and the bishops of the cities were known as patriarchs. The patriarch had full authority over the regional apostolic church and the bishops of that church. The church also grew outside of the Roman Empire as well. The Persian, Armenian, and Georgian churches flourished outside of the Roman Empire, and the heads of these churches had the title of Catholicos. The head of a regional apostolic church outside of the Roman Empire was known as Catholicos. The position of Catholicos is below that of a patriarch. Though the title of Catholicos was used in the early periods of the church, it was not used in the Ethiopian or Malankara church. The Catholicos title was used in the Roman Empire by government officials to denote authority over a defined graphical region. However, by the beginning of the 5th century, the title was used to mean head of the church. The Catholicos had all authority and rights, like that of a patriarch, within the territory of his rule. Just as a patriarch has all authority in his patriarchate, a Catholicos has all authority in his catholicate. The Arab Code of Canons denotes, a Catholicos is the supreme head. All those under him should obey him. He has authority over metropolitans and bishops in his territory. He is the pastor who teaches the people authoritatively. He takes the final decisions on matters of his church, including beliefs, liturgy, and feasts. He is commemorated in the liturgy. He has the right to convene synods, approve bishops chosen by metropolitans as well. He has the right to create dioceses and alter boundaries and transfer bishops. As we learned in previous chapters, the Monophysites who did not accept the Council of Chalcedon were later known as the Jacobites, and as well as the Syrian Orthodox Church. They are based in Antioch and use the Antiochian liturgies. Many Jacobites emigrated into Persia due to religious persecution of the Byzantine emperors. To cater to the spiritual needs of the emigrated Jacobites of Persia, Bishop Ahuddin was appointed to Target, Persia, in 599 AD. In 629 AD, the Jacobite Patriarch of Antioch appointed Mar Marutha, the chief metropolitan and Mephraim, as the spiritual head of the Jacobites residing in Persia. A Mephraim, which translates to one who begets in English, has authority to install bishops and metropolitans and is the representative of the Patriarch of Antioch. Mephraim bar Hebraeus used the title Catholicos, which was a title only used in Persia by the head of the Chaldean Syrian Church at the time. The Mephraim Catholicos of Target acted as the head of the church and had the right of self-governance. Due to religious persecution, the Antiochian Mephranate/Catholicate of Target slowly declined and was later abolished by the Patriarch during the period of 1860 to 1863. O God, who in the fullness of time has formed the Malankara Catholic Church, bless the leaders of the Church that they may lead the faithful to the true faith of God, that the children of the Church may be made able to live and work, understanding their responsibilities, and through the Catholic Church may bear true witness to the world. As a life witness, discuss what could be done for the growth of the Malankara Catholic Church. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those authorities that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists authority, resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. Romans chapter 13, verses 1 to 2. Answer the following question for next week. Describe the name Patriarch and Catholicos.